Hello and welcome to the garden. In today's episode, I'm going to show you some activities I've been getting into to prepare for spring. So if you'd like to see what those activities are, stay tuned. Is a pretty big container that I've had outside for quite a while, and I've refreshed the soil. Up under this pot I have some red Pontiac potatoes. I've also put in this pot some dwarf marigolds as well as some cosmic purple carrots. Now, the reason why I have this pot on top is because I had my potatoes indoors. They began to sprout inside, and I didn't want them to get comfortable. It's been really cold outside. Ta-da! Look at that, you guys. They survived the cold. So excited. But I'm gonna cover them back up because our evening temperatures have been pretty bad, and I do not want these to suffer before our weather changes for the better in a few more weeks. But in here, I have lots going on. I've already made my plant labels because I was really bad at making sure that I identified what was in my pots. I have it laying down for right now. I just potted this up a couple of days ago. The weather has been really bad, so let's go see what else I've been working on. Here are some containers that I have refreshed the soil. I placed fertilizer in the soil, and I have them hanging out here until I'm ready to sow seeds in them and or transplant plants I have growing indoors. But here is just a quick peek of what's going on in the garden. This is one of my 17-gallon containers. I have made a makeshift trellis for it using some fencing that I picked up, and I had some bamboo already. I actually do have some items in here, so let's take a look and see what those are. Has been very much hit and miss. It is still very cold at night, and the days may or may not reach up to a nice warm temperature. Yesterday it was freezing, and we had signs of snow, but no snow fell, but that was the prediction. But the weather was terrible, and so I've already potted this up, and as you can see, I have some early perfection peas, and we are there. They're along this side of the container, and on the opposite I have some Oregon sugar pod peas along this side back in towards the center. Now up under this pot, I guess you want to know what's in there. Well, let's just like in the other pot, I have potatoes. So I'm going to move this out of the way for just a quick second. I have potatoes that have begun to sprout, and let's see what's growing in here. Now these are looking a little bit worse for the wear. These tops look like they've been damaged, but I'm not concerned about that because I have potatoes down there that are still growing. So if these are lost, that's fine. Sorry you guys can't see. If the tops on these are lost, I'm okay with that. I was really hoping that they wouldn't be, but I know I have growth growing along in there. I have peas all along the back side of the fencing, but this is what's in this pot. I have blue Adirondack potatoes. I have early perfection peas, Oregon sugar pod peas. I've got a little bit of celery as well as some marigolds. Now I've popped the marigolds along the front of this pot. I popped some celery here and here, and we'll see if those come up. So now I'm going to put this pot back on top in the hopes that it will hopefully save these poor potatoes from any more hard temps. So let's do that. My second 17-gallon container. I've done the same thing. I made a makeshift trellis with a little bit of fencing that I purchased and some bamboo stakes that I had collected for free. And up under here is where we're going to be planting today. So let me get my tools and we'll get planting. Because I had to start and stop this project several times because of the weather, I went ahead on and fertilized the soil, and I covered it up with my mulch. So I'm going to take the mulch off and I'm going to plant it up. Now that is some free mulch that I picked up last year. I have a video that shows me collecting that mulch. If I can remember, I will try and put a iCard of that video so that you can see how I collected my mulch. So I'm just going to take this off the top, just like so. It's okay if you don't get it all. Now, generally, when you plant potatoes, you would normally start out with a half-empty container. But because I've had to start and stop this project several times, all of the soil is in here. So what I'm going to do, because I've already fertilized this soil, is I am going to dig down and try and put a potato in the hole, cover it up, and call it good. So in today's episode, I'm going to finish planting my blue Adirondack potatoes. I still have some. I picked up a 3-pound bag, and so I'm going to finish planting those up. So let's get started. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to carefully take out these potatoes. I do apologize for the wind. It is very windy out. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm trying to take out my potatoes. I did cut some of these. I hope you can see. I cut some of these because they were a little bit larger than I would like. And these do have 3 or more eyes on them. So that's a good thing. If they were the size of an egg, roughly, I did not cut them. So I'm just going to take some of these out. And I may end up donating some of these potatoes if I have too many. So I'm just going to place some on the soil like that just to see how many I have. And that's about it. Let's see. I'm going to place them like so. These potatoes won't get too terribly large, so I think I might be good if I can put all of these in here. I have about 9. I have 9. I have 9 potatoes. That might be pushing it, but I'm going to put all of these potatoes in this container. So let me speed this up because well, you know what? I'm not going to speed it up just yet. I'm going to show you real time me planting one of these potatoes, and then I'm going to speed it up so that you don't have to watch me plant potatoes real time. So I have a trowel here. It's a trowel with a really long handle, and it's relatively thin at the top, and it has measurements here. It goes down to, let me see if I can see this. Y'all know I need my reading glasses. 10 centimeters or 4 inches. That's how long that is. And so I'm going to dig down as far as I can get it and then try to pop in my potato. So let's see what I can do. Let's start here. I do apologize for the noise. My neighbor just let his dog out, and there are neighbors walking by taking their children out, so you can hear them talking. Let's see. This is a garden, and you will hear all kinds of noises. So I think I've gotten down pretty far, roughly 10 centimeters or more. And I'm just going to take this potato, and I want to try to get it with the eyes up. So I'm going to plant it this way because the eyes are growing up. And I've got a little bit of fallback, but I'm going to try and get it in there without breaking off any of the chits. There we go. And try to get my trowel out without it coming with the trowel. And I'm just going to cover it over like that. Now, I was gonna do the rest of them sped up, but I'm gonna move you guys in closer so that you can see me do one more. I hope you guys can see. I am going to plant one more, and hopefully you can see it. All right, so I'm gonna dig a hole right here, go down as far as I can, and I've already fertilized it so I can feel that fertilizer down there. And as you can see, the soil is falling back in on the hole because the soil is very soft. But I'm trying to scoot that soil over a little bit, having some difficulty. There we go. And I want it to go up like this. So I'm just going to try and get some of that soil that keeps falling in. It's not the easiest. You should actually take your soil out, but we're gonna scoot that over a little bit that way. And hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm right-handed, but I'm gonna try to fit that potato in like that. Push it down a little bit without breaking the chit. Pull my trowel out. Trowel. And then cover it over with soil. I hope you guys saw that. That was not the easiest thing to do. The best way to plant your potatoes, again, is to make sure that you have your soil out of your container. And then depending on the size of your container, add roughly 1/3 of soil into the container at the bottom. Place your potatoes and then mound your soil up, meaning as you see the growth pop out of the soil, you add more dirt to cover that growth, and so on and so forth until you get to the top of your container. But this was already filled up, so I'm going to try it this way, and hopefully this will not be a detriment. So let me speed this up and get the rest of these potatoes planted. The potatoes have been planted to the best of my ability. As I mentioned, this is not the optimal way to plant potatoes, but it is the best I can do for right now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a few celery seeds on top, and I will show you what those are. I have my seed box here on the ground. I'm trying to open that up. I don't know if the celery in the other container is going to grow because I actually started those indoors and then changed my mind and said, let me see if I can put them outdoors. So I ended up just dumping them out into the soil, which is not how you're supposed to do it. So they may or may not grow. I'll have to see. But I'm going to place in here some Chinese white celery and some Chinese pink celery. I'm just going to put a little bit, just a pinch, in both corners, here and here. So I'm going to start with the pink. And these are really tiny seeds. Very tiny seeds. So, I think I might have dropped a seed. If I did, we'll see it growing in the grass, so we'll get it. So I just put just a couple of tiny little seeds over in the corner. And because these seeds are so tiny, these are seeds that you would sow on the surface. You would not put these seeds buried in the soil. So I'm going to put just a couple of these on this side, right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press them in lightly. And that way, they're just sitting on the surface of the soil. And that is celery. Last thing I'm going to put in this container today, I will be putting a climber in this container, which is why I have the makeshift trellis, but it's not the right time to put that particular climber in. So as soon as the weather warms up in the next 3 weeks or so, I will be putting in my last item in this container. But for right now, I am going to plant one more thing, and that is marigold seeds that I harvested from my garden this past fall. And I'm not quite sure if there are any seeds in that one. There was one or two. Let's see. I hope you guys see. This is the marigold seed. Can y'all see that? That's what I harvested. And so I have some seeds in this little container, along with a little bit of fertilizer that fell out. But I'm just trying to get a few of these out of here. And I'm placing them right in the front of the pot, because I want the front of this pot right along here, like a little smile, to have marigolds. And I really hope these actually grow for me. I would love to see some marigolds. So now that I've placed a few marigold seeds inside of that pot, I'm just going to take a little bit of soil and just kind of brush it like this, you know, push them down a little bit, cover them over with some soil, and then pat them down. And I want to make sure that soil gets on top of these like so. And that's about it. I'm just trying to see if I actually got soil over these or if I'm just making a bit of a mess. It's kind of hard to see because I have such little bitty bits of mulch still in the pot, but I think I got them pretty good. And then I'm going to water this in, and that is it. I'm going to put the mulch back on top before I call it a day, so let me do that. And this is just pine bark that I got, and I'm just going to put that on top for right now, and then I will water this in. I'm not going to show you me watering this in. I'm going to take these pine cones out of here. I'm going to use those as kindling when I make fire later on in the year. So those are going to come out. And that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. If you did, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Share my video. Subscribe to my channel. And I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.